So I felt a little bit emotional yesterday when I was sitting at that garden centre and I saw everything that was going on, and the reason that I felt emotional enough to make the video was because I now have a deep understanding, maybe not all of it, but some of it, about, really why we're here and what's going on. It's the 14th of July, and I'm here. I've come to this place of beauty, this beach, which is a stony beach, and I've got on sandals, so all the stones are going in my feet. I feel like a Catholic being punished. Anyway, yeah, I was kind of moved to make that video yesterday, so I came down to the beach to sing, because I sing in the morning, and I'm not a good singer, but I can keep in tune, and my voice is getting stronger, not better, but stronger. And so I'm here with my wee dog, and anyway, I brought a little seat, and it's Baltic. I think people try and do this. I think people try and make little circles in the sand. So anyway, I come here to collect stuff for my artwork. I've started been drawn. Somebody asked me actually a few weeks ago to make a heart within a heart, and I was quite taken back because nobody's, apart from a couple of people, have asked me to make art before. So anyway, I went away and I made it that night, and I made this heart within a heart. So then no longer had I made it when she asked me to make the eagle returns the heart, and I made that too. And if you're all very nice, I might show you it at some point quite soon. And then it was a full moon there last Sunday, and I was drawing myself to make something which I have made, and it's quite strange, but anyway, it's all stuff that it's actually an old crone, as you would have called them then, in the full moon, which is a blue moon, collecting sticks to make her fire for the full moon, and you can touch it, so it's almost like 3D. These stones are killing me, and so you can touch it, and the hair's like all big and all that stuff, Anyway, so I've got to cross a wee burn here. Can you see it? It comes from the hills all the way down here to the water, and the sea water. This is the Firth of Clyde, so the sea water, the water is salty. So anyway, I'm just going to go in this first of all with my sandals on, and then I'm going to go into the water and walk along the water, in the water, just to, as you can see, the rain's coming, so we'll see how long this lasts for. Here's the lovely water. So I wanted to give you a wee view of this, of what's available to us. On the earth at this time now. Just been reading about, how we're all living in a matrix. So I'd advise you to go to the second-hand shops when they open and get yourself a copy of the Matrix, because that's what we're living in. So I keep coming down here, and then I look at these hills and I think, God, any day now they might start shaking because it's not real. So when you get this information and then you're like 65, and in 10 years time I'll be 75, and time is going so quickly. In all this time, people have been trying to shut me up because I say things and I just say them. I don't really think about them. They come out my mouth, and sometimes I just say things, and people try and shut me up. So this has been happening all my life, and it probably started, it's a wee jellyfish. It probably started when I was about maybe 10 or something, I think. And it was this cousin of my mother's who was I don't know what the right name was. See, this is what I mean. I'm actually stopping because I'm scared to say words, so here, I'll just say it. So she's like a little Ned, and as we say in Glasgow. Anyway, or as somebody once said to me, a Nedette, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, she was what we say in Glasgow, common, and she was visiting my mother. I'm still paddling in the water, and so she was visiting my mother, and she started ripping this neighbour apart that she's talking about. It was so vicious. It was just like, for me, it's so hard to hear. So I said, I don't think that's very nice. And she said, in front of me, so she didn't even have the grace to wait. But she turned to my mother and she said, she's no like your other to her. So that's what I've carried. She's no like your other two. Anyway, it's another story. So people have basically tried to shut me up. So if I don't say anything, then they turn me around and they put their fist straight into my face and knock out my 3 front teeth. And then they go on their knees and begging me to forgive them, and I'm going, his blonde hair's turning red, and I wonder where my teeth are. So, and other ones, because I'm looking at them, staring at them, wondering what they're going to do next, and so they try and poke my eyes out or put their hand around my throat so that I just die, and then I can shut up then and stop, and stop saying and stop telling the truth is the answer. Stop telling the truth, it's hilarious. So, they come to my house because I've taken an action, I've done something that somebody in authorities told me to do. So it's not even like my idea. So they send people to my house and tell me that only the scum of the earth, do this that I've done. Well, in your own house. So you go through all this stuff, right? And then you start listening to somebody like David Icke. It tells you it's all a lot of make up anyway. It's just doesn't really exist. But here you are in the middle of it, doing what has been planned for millions of years. I'm still in the water. I remember when I was born in 1954, so probably about maybe 1956, 7, something like that. And my mother and father got a television, and we were the only people in the close that had a television, and we were the only people in the close that, at that time, my father had a sidecar on a motorbike that had belonged to his brother, and then we got a car, and then eventually we got a caravan. And my mother's mantra was, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't go to the bingo. Brilliant. She said that all her life. But guess what? She was right, wasn't she? Because she got all those things. Made him work. He was a bus driver, so made him work night and day to get bloody overtime to get those things. So everybody was jealous of us. And I suppose we were seen as the kind of snobs in the close, So you grow up with all this stuff, and then somebody goes, well, it's not real, so you're... And while you're in addictions, which I started drinking when I was 13. Why would you drink when you're 13? You come from a home where there's nobody drinking. Well, use your imagination. Why would a wee 13-year-old girl be quiet? I was quiet. And this teacher used to beat my head with a big jade bracelet because I came from Drumchapel and this was Knightswood, and I didn't have the same intelligence as the other people there, in her opinion. And she was probably right, because I really didn't want to learn. I didn't want to be at school, even when I was wee. I ran away in the first day, I think, back to my mother, which was about 2 miles away, which I was to walk every day, by the way. Nobody thought a thing about it. And so anyway, we've got all this, and I wasn't even meant to be here in the first place. My mother was told not to have me. And she went and had me at the sake of losing her own life. So interesting how I was brought into the world. So what was I brought into the world to do? I don't know. Drink and be cheeky. So it's like, who am I? And then you stop drinking, and then you become spiritual, and then you're doing everything on the planet to recover from the disease of alcoholism, the dis-ease of alcoholism, and the shame that everybody puts on you, especially as a woman, And so now it's not real. So where does that leave us? You know, this bloody life of being on your own, bringing up two Waynes, and the struggle just to make ends meet. And I had another struggle because I refused to let go of my ambition, which was to be an artist and to be a writer and to write things and paint things. And when I stopped drinking, I started to do all that stuff, and the oddest little man in this bloody planet. He was like about 3.5 feet in height, and he was he had a big hump in his back, God help him. I'm still in the water. And he was he used to go to the same place that I went to, and I was frightened of him because he'd that condition. God help him. Lucky white heather. And he says, I've written a book. You did all of that. I was like, aye, right. Get away from me, you wee man. And then it's like, you should come. It's like, anyway, ended up going with him to this group, and it was a writing group. And thanks to that wee old man, God help him, I think I was the last person to see him dead. Or just before he died, rather. I went to see him in the hospital, God help him. I took a pair of pyjamas and I was sitting there going, I can't give him these a neck cut about 5 foot off the pyjamas, so God help him. Anyway, I suppose if I was the last person to see, then that wouldn't be quite so bad. And so we've got all these strange things going on that bring our life together and bring our life to a place of where we are now. So I'm watching to see if the mountains are going to start shaking. And you know what? I really, really have got the most admiration for David Icke, who has been talking about this stuff for 35 years, and everybody's been making a fool of not just him, but his whole family, his wife at that time, his boys. The poor boys suffered in school as well because of everybody making a fool of him. Because he was telling the truth. And he's a researcher. Can you imagine the hours that this man has spent researching all this information to bring it to us? Bloody amazing. He's like a supreme human being, and of course he's telling us that way back then we're mixed, you know, we're mixed with the aliens. And so back to the television, right, so right way back then, when that was how it affected us. We were the first to have the television, so that means, if you think about it, that we were the first to be hypnotised. Brilliant. So me, even now, hey, going to put my hand up to this one. So even now, I can rarely have a meal without putting the television on. So I've even got a table that I can sit at, and I don't sit at a table either, I sit in the big chair. I've got a big chair. A big lazy boy chair. Big lazy girl chair. I just sit in this bloody chair watching this television. So isn't that amazing how I remember watching this film about them bringing computers into the schools, and like these the Russians, I can't remember what it's called, but you know, they're like Russian diplomat children at this school and all that jazz, right? And then, you know, they kidnap them and everything, but that's how they do it, through these computer screens. And here we are. So they've been doing that since all that time. Can you believe that? And the other day I went to brush my teeth, and as I got the toothbrush out, it's electric. Posh. So I got the toothbrush out, I went, right, bum 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 bum, it's so blue. Wow. That's probably from about 1958 or something. And then there was another one as well that I sang this tune. Oh, I know what it was. It was about 4 weeks before that. It was You'll Wonder Where the Yellow Went When You Brushed Your Teeth with Pepsodent. What the freaking heck? Where does that come from? It's mental. Absolutely mental. So if that's us with paraffin, and a lot of you won't even know what paraffin is, if that's us with paraffin and toothpaste from 60 years ago, you can imagine everything else that's been implanted, which brings me nicely into these arse holes in China and bloody, was it Sweden? I think it was Sweden the other night I was watching. Sweden as well. And they're all going to get chips put in their hands. So they just walk up to a shop now which is unmanned, and they walk up to the shop and then they go, just stand in front of the shop, and it recognises their face recognition. They walk in the shop, there's nobody serving, of course not, why would there be a human in there? And they just take whatever they want, and then they just stand in front of another machine, face recognition, and it takes the money then off of their bank details, which of course the government of the day has. You know, and if they get an Uber or something like that, then it's face recognition, they just take it off their bank details, you know. So I was watching this programme in China the other day there, and this is what they're doing there. And then, you know, they were bumming about it, them being billionaires and people going from America to China to make their millions, you know. They live in China now with all this stuff going on. Didn't they see any chips in their hand, right enough? And this is what's happening, you know. So all the AI, all the artificial intelligence is really taking over everything. And what are we doing? We're going, will I wear a mask or will I not wear a mask? It's mental. What are you so doing? Oh my God. I wonder if you just open your eyes for a wee minute and go from one place to another. I wonder how many 5G poles you'll see up. So see what, while they had us all locked down, they're putting up bloody millions of poles for 5G. And guess what? You've got to buy a 5G phone to make it work properly. Anyway. The reason I brought you to the beach this morning, my wee dog's away to find a pal. Fed up being with me all the time. I brought you to the beach so that you can just look at this and see this beauty, this wonder. Now, whether it's pretend or not doesn't really make any difference. Because I guess what I'm saying is that, you know that old saying, live a day at a time? Well, that's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm just living a day at a time because I just don't know what I'm going to wake up to tomorrow, what they're going to be doing. I never ever thought I would see this in my lifetime. I have to be honest and say that. I really didn't. And when I watch other people and how they're all buying into it, like me having my dim in front of the telly, and when I watch this, then I'm just going to come out of the water now because there's people coming up. How dare they be on my beach? So what do I do? Well, I think I've kind of worked out that the only thing I can do is I follow Diana Cooper. This wee bit's determined, isn't it, to make me look like a wee devil? I don't like that. Don't even like that word. So, what do I do? Yeah, to keep sane just now. I sing every morning, and what we're singing for on this Zoom group is we're singing for the people that are dying, and especially if they've got them isolated with these things down their throats and stuff like that. Singing so that they're not totally like alone. Yeah, okay, we're just singing, but there's, and they're Celtic songs, so beautiful songs actually. So try and do that in the morning, and then meditation. You know, all these idiots talk about, you know, meditation and mindfulness. You know, mindfulness is just what Buddhists have been doing for trillions of years, and now all these idiots have jumped in the bandwagon, and it's kind of taking the spiritual aspect of it away, but for me, for a lot of them anyway. But if it brings people a little bit of peace, then that's fine, that's good. But I'll just say to be mindful, be mindful, be considerate, be considerate of others. Get yourself out of selfishness and be considerate. And I'm not saying be nice to everybody, I'm just saying be considerate. So that's what I try and do. And I'm maybe still saying what I think, but maybe saying it in a different way. So live a day at a time. Live today as if there's no tomorrow. And get rid of any old crap that's hanging about there. There shouldn't be any resentments and fear and stuff like that. You need to deal with it, and you're never going to get any peace. So do that and enjoy, whether this is artificial or not. Look at these trees, look at these pine trees. Aren't they astounding? So just go with the flow. Sit in the quiet for a wee while. I'll tell you what, Inner Space in High Street, they taught me how to meditate, Raj Yoga, and it's open-eyed meditation, and that was fabulous. And that was fabulous for me because it brought me great peace going there. Great peace and happiness, actually. But it was hard for me not to live in this world too. It's easy to do that and just live that way. But I wanted to be with people. And that's what I've always wanted to do. So in as much as I'm on my own a great deal now, and I'm in lots of silence, so sometimes if I come down to this place, I can sit here for 7 hours and not do anything, not do this, not do anything, just sit there. So if you can do that, then I think that's a really good place to be. But at the same time, I'm with people at other times. So I have a choice nowadays to be quiet, be on my own. I'm on my own a lot. And to send love to David Icke. Love and thanks for telling us the truth about what life is really all about and how it was created, especially, and who it was created by, and how we're all totally and utterly hypnotised beyond belief. Every day we're all in a hypnotic state, and it's just breaking free of that so that we can speak to each other and tell each other the truth. And so it is.